How much blue is too much blue? This much. This is too much blue. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Racer Blue Always Forward Pack colorway of the Nike Tiempo Legend 7 Pro, the first takedown model in the current Tiempo lineup, with a retail price of $130 US. An extremely good value considering that these are kangaroo leather, and I would argue a boot that is 99% of what you get from the top-end $230 Tiempo Legend 7 Elite. So why would you buy the Elite instead of the Pro? Well, you have to just really want the Elite, because I really feel like these are every bit as good, and given how good they are for the price that they cost, I really feel like this is one of those boots, if you've never tried something with a kangaroo leather upper, absolutely everyone 100% should give these a go. Now you're probably saying to yourself, Jeff, that is quite the statement to make, and I know it is. I'm gonna explain why I've made it in today's video. We'll take a closer look, including how they fit and feel on feet, essentially covering everything that you need to know about these. So if you want to learn more, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair for yourself in this color or any of the other colorways that they've come out in so far, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $130 retail price. If you guys do end up enjoying the video, don't forget to support it with a like, and if you're new here watching for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. Included with the boots is a regular orange Nike box, nothing else at all. If you want a string bag, you're gonna have to spend the extra $100 on the Elite. Very quickly, I just want to start with the color, because as you saw in my intro, I think that these are just a little bit too blue. It's the same Racer Blue as the rest of the pack, but because it's leather, it ends up with this almost spray painted type look to it. I just think that the finish looks cheap. The material feels great, don't get me wrong, but I just don't like this shade of blue on the leather with this kind of semi-glossy finish. It looks like the boots were spray painted, and I just can't really get over that. The rest of the upper is blue as well. I think it would have been nice had the transition point where it transitions from kangaroo leather to a synthetic material, if that was black and then they did something different with the swoosh to make that stand out, that perhaps would have looked a little bit nicer in my opinion. But as they are, I don't think that they're ugly. It's just not my favorite colorway that we've seen of the Tiempo so far. It also doesn't have a black sole plate. It's almost like a really dark gray, which doesn't really match all the black accents in the swoosh as well as the laces and tongue that you have on the top. Not a big deal, not something you're really ever gonna notice, especially once you start playing in them, but it's a little thing that, again, in person, I just think that these look kind of cheap, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. When it comes to performance though, the Tiempo Legend 7 Pro is extremely impressive given the $130 price tag, offering pretty much all the important features that would be included on the more expensive Elite model. But for those that care, here's what's missing. Instead of flying it, the midfoot is just a mesh-based synthetic that, if we're being honest, feels exactly the same. The tongue also isn't flying it, but instead is this really nice synthetic material with memory foam inserts that one could argue actually feels better than the one on the Elite. You don't get the hyper-stability sole plate, but what you do get looks and feels pretty much identical. The heel liner isn't quite the same, but is pretty much exactly the heel liner that we got on the last couple high-end Tiempo Legend models, so while I don't think it's quite as good as the Elites, it's still really, really good. And there's also no ACC, but that's invisible anyway, so who cares? But what you do get is the exact same kangaroo leather upper that you'd find on the $100 more expensive Elite model. And trust me when I say, it's as nice as just about any leather upper out there. It's got a good thickness to it, so you get a nice soft feel both on feet in regards to comfort, as well as in regards to touch on the ball, which I am personally a big fan of. Obviously, if you're a fan of really thin boots, then something like a Tiempo probably isn't the best option for you. But if you're somebody that does like a softer, slightly more padded touch on the ball, but without giving up the feel part, that's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. This doesn't take away from feel at all. You still feel all of the ball, but there's a softness and a padded sensation that a synthetic just doesn't have. That's why kangaroo leather boots have stuck around for as long as they have. Nothing feels quite like it. It also has an internal support cage, which is why you really don't see any stitching on the upper at all. That's what's providing all of your reinforcement. So from a stability and responsive standpoint, a lot of people have this impression of leather boots kind of of being sloppy and overstretching, and certain ones will do that. These do not have that sensation at all. These are pretty much as responsive as almost any boot that Nike currently produces, and more responsive than I would say 90% of the boots out there, which is saying a lot considering how soft the upper is. What this does not have is the fit mesh lining in the forefoot though, which does allow for a little bit more stretch in this area, and honestly, I would actually argue feels a little bit more comfortable because of that extra stretch, but that's really gonna vary from person to person depending on the shape of your feet specifically. Another carryover feature from the Elite model are the flywire cables that attach at the top 3 lacing positions. So tie the laces tight. These flywire cables run through the upper into the base of the sole on a diagonal, locking your heel in place really effectively, but also enhancing the overall stability through the midfoot, a part of the foot where honestly most leather shoes end up feeling really sloppy. You do not get that sensation from these whatsoever. The laces run down the middle of the boot. You have a nice deep lacing system, and the tongue, instead of being technically one piece being attached to either side, you have an independent free floating tongue that has these little elastic bands on either side of the tongue to help hold it in the middle, so it's not gonna slide around on you like a traditional tongue would. Obviously the boots have a low cut. All Tiempos are like this, an internal plastic heel counter, just like the top end model, and then the heel liner is a nice synthetic suede at the back and then synthetic leather on either side. Decent amount of padding, again, very comfortable. The insole is fully removable and technically does not have the Nike grip lining, although it feels pretty much like the exact same mesh. I've said this from the beginning, the Nike grip liners are pretty much meaningless. And then of course you do have the regular foam on the bottom, not quite as fancy as the insole on the Tiempo Legend 7 Elite, but it comes pretty close in regards to feel. Moving to the base, like I mentioned, this does not have a hyper stability sole plate. Instead, it's a standard TPU plastic with no name to the plastic itself, but like I said, it feels pretty much exactly the same. And of course the FG stud pattern, that does not change whatsoever. It's more aggressive than what we've seen in the last couple of Tiempos. And honestly, as far as stud patterns go, I really do like this. It gives you that traditional sensation to a certain extent, in that once your foot is planted, you still have that freedom to twist and pivot, but you get the bite when on the tips of your toes that you would kind of expect from a speed boot. But again, you're getting that from something like a Tiempo that doesn't really have a speed boot feel, but they're more responsive with more aggressive traction than you definitely will be expecting. And then there's the weight, another aspect of leather boots that a lot of people like to use as an excuse as to why they don't wear them. They don't like the feel of heavy boots, but these are not heavy at all. In a size 9.5 US, the Tiempo Legend 7 Pro weighs in at about 7.1, 7.2 ounces, which is pretty well identical to that of the Elite. And as far as high-end boots go in general, that's actually very light. If you're anywhere around the 7-ounce range, that's gonna be the same weight, if not lighter, than a lot of speed boots that are out there right now. So again, if you're looking for the soft leather feel, but you don't wanna sacrifice the lightweight feel either, you can have both with the Legend 7 Pro or Elite if you want to spend more money. So as you can see, I swapped out the stock black laces, which look fine, but the black, because the blue is so dark, kind of all blends into one. So to break that up, because I think there is too much blue, I swapped in some metallic silver reflective SR4U replacement laces that accent really nicely with a little silver outline on the swoosh and the silver Tiempo branding there on the back. Makes them that much more unique as well. So if you are interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. On feet, the Legend 7 Pros feel really good. The kangaroo leather is soft, flexible, the sole plate really doesn't have that much stiffness to it as well, and the heel liner locks your heel in place really nicely. Again, I think most people that would try these on would probably expect something that feels more traditional. These don't really have that traditional feel. It's got a modern shape, a modern fit. The only thing that's old school is the soft leather, which just adds to the comfort, but you still get the responsiveness and the lockdown of brand new boots from 2018, which again is what people probably wouldn't expect from these, which is why I think if you've never tried a leather boot before, these are the ones to go for, because they're not going to lack the modern elements that you're used to, but you're still gonna get the softness of an old school leather boot, kind of wrapped into one single package for an inexpensive price at that. As far as fit is concerned, it's got some decent width to them, but even if you did have narrower feet, these are still gonna fit you very comfortably and are unlikely to overstretch as long as you get the sizing right. So even if you do have really wide feet, I feel like these are boots that are pretty much gonna fit everybody after a little bit of wear time. Because they're leather, they still need some time to break in and form to the shape of your feet. And then as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the Tiempos as a whole run about a half size to a quarter size small. So if you want a really snug fit, I would personally recommend going a half size up, or if you are looking to get a little bit of extra space, going up even a full size wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea, but half size up for most people I think is probably the way to go. So in conclusion, aside from me not being a huge fan of this particular colorway, there's not a lot I can criticize about the Legend 7 Pro. For $130, they are pretty well as good as the Elites, and honestly, if Nike released this as the Elite model at $230, I would still be really happy with the final product because they are legitimately that good. I think if you've never tried a pair of leather boots and you're looking to try them in a fairly inexpensive way, yes, these retail for $130, but you can get them on sale for less than that. And if you go for an older colorway, you can get them for probably around $80, which is an absolute steal for something this good in regards to overall quality. Or if you're just on a budget and you need some good high-end leather boots, this is what I would recommend. At $130, they're worth it. If you can get them for less than that, which you regularly can, they're even better as far as an overall value is concerned. And again, in terms of value for money, there really isn't much that competes with something like this. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes. You'll be able to pick these up below their normal $130 retail price. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.